By the introduction of diagonal movement, you think dodging will be harder as enemies can just catch you from different angles. This is but a myth as enemies are not allowed to move diagonally to engage with the player. Thus, diagonal movement is not the main cause of why players struggle dodging in the second game. Or is it? We'll go through this and more in this video. My name is Ethan Raccoon and I try to make Fnaf Hunger 2 easier with each video I make. Today, we'll be talking about dodging and how RPG Maker allows the player to understand when they can and cannot do so. Speed is the decisive factor that makes an enemy easy, medium, or hard. Their speed will modify your dodging. Easy, crawl speed. Medium, walk speed. Hard, running speed. Crawling speed being the easiest one of them. The second an enemy moves to a tile, their whole hitbox will no longer be where they were standing and will be placed on the tile they are moving towards. Of course, the square where they are heading will no longer be safe at the moment they choose to move towards it. That's the main rule with these enemies, and understanding it will allow you to not struggle with them ever again. Walking speed is the medium difficulty. While not on pair with your walking speed at all, you will have to react to their movement such as you do with the crawl speed ones, in a way that you will wait for them to choose a tile around you, then you will respond by moving away from them. Fun fact, if you lose your legs, you will move at the same speed as them, but in the end, you always have the upper hand since it's based on your input and your mistake. Running speed is the hardest one of them. These are going to compare to your walking speed, and nope, if you don't have legs, there is no way to dodge them. Predicting where an enemy will go is not as easy as the others. Dodging here will mostly come from knowledge on the area, the enemy, and just how likely it is for the enemy to snap to a different position the moment they are close to you. There's more aspects behind them, and we'll be going through them to ease their difficulty. Fun fact, holding the run button will not make this easier. In fact, it will be harder, since running away means you'll be faster than the enemy, thus you'll run into them. Running should be used to disengage with enemies, but also, one should watch out for the tension system. Tension is an effect that alters the screen, causing the player to have their stamina drain faster than usual. Most enemies cause tension on the player the moment they find them. However, there's a few of them who don't have such effect, either it being a bug or intended. I can't tell. Tension should only be a problem if you wish to disengage from interacting with enemies. And while it is not as bothersome in normal, in Maso mode, time is precious as you will need to prevent tension time as much as possible due to the moon's timer. But we're not talking about Maso mode today. Dodging enemies is easy once you understand how it works. The problem is dodging multiple enemies, especially when the game has to calculate the enemy's movement on each tile. It would tend to lag at times, like for example the mob spawn and the Sewjobs themselves. Sometimes they can cause lag due to them moving at all. Imagine having 3 of them causing stutters on your game. Yeah, not the easiest to deal with, is it? For these kind of cases, I just recommend removing these threats with guns or any kind of ability, such as Marina's Warden Sigil. Being able to defeat these enemies or keeping them at bay as you plan your moves will help out a lot, though most of the time you will not have these resources, so learning how to cheese them is quite important. For example, if you make a wall and the enemy does this, then you're able to make them lose interest on you by constantly forcing them to look away. When this happens, they will go back to their program position, or try to, when the map was first loaded. You probably noticed there's some spots in the maps where enemies are not allowed to pass through. Once you find this, you can easily dodge enemies and stay in the clear from them. It is up to you to find them or to make them possible. Remember that warning sigils disappear once you leave the map, but corpses don't, except if it's needles. Dodging enemies becomes a rather troublesome thing when you gain some party members. Your party will determine the hitbox that you have in the open world, and yes, if an enemy touches your party members, then you're going into a fight. However, this will only happen once there is no way for the enemy to path towards the main player. This is a quick example here. The enemy will path towards the main character even though they are partially blocked, while over here, there is no way for them to path to the main character without the enemy wasting a lot of time, so the game chooses to engage with a party member. There's finicky things like this that happen due to having a party, so it's up to you to figure it out. Though I will always accept that dodging with party members is either very hard or impossible. Now, how do you make dodging or running away consistent with a party? Well, 20 agility allows the player to run away from most fights in the game. This is a result of the back into runaway command scaling with agility, and it gets capped at 100% once you reach 20. There are a few exclusions in the game which you are seeing right now. These enemies have more speed than the norm, so you will have to stack more for the 100% run chance. However, if you add more party members to the team, you will have to add 20 more agility per party member, so you can always succeed on the run chance. But this is expensive and a waste of your resources. If you're looking to run away with a party of people, then you might want to use skill run, which is ineffective agility. These are the chances you have no matter your allies in normal mode and easier mode. Add in the handy skill of carrying escape plan, and your chances look rather insane. Of course, if you're trying to play on Master mode, you will only have the lowest chance to run away. It won't ever beat the 100% chance to run away, but it's something. This can't be intended, right? You can run away from almost everything at 100% chance. Say, the update is coming closer and closer, so I had a few ideas on how to balance this mess because it completely removes the tension of the game once you know that you can do this. Materialization of Memories is a fun game of fear and hunger. I've spoken about it in great detail in another video. I bring up this game because you aren't allowed to run away from any fight in the game. That's right, no button for escaping this. It makes the player pay attention to their surroundings since enemies can transform into objects to ambush the player, while it punishes players heavily since these fights are very hard when unprepared. Preparation is everything when it comes to this game, but those who choose not to learn will think that every single fight is mandatory, so it is going to be a chore to sit through this if the player doesn't want to learn. And these fights are long. Maybe allowing Karen's escape plan to be the only way to run away from enemies could be the best way, balancing to give you a 100% chance to escape at the cost of 20 mind. It will allow the player to plan 4 escapes before having to refill. Do you have any ideas on how to balance this? If so, make sure to comment below what could work for this unbalanced mechanic, because this is all I got. Also, remember to subscribe and like the video. We might have gotten a little sidetracked, but it is a reality that dodging and speed come hand in hand. Just in case the update fixes this issue, let's move on to the next topic: Sewjobs and stairs. Let's start with Sewjobs. These enemies move in a completely different way than any other enemy in the game. They don't produce tension, their movement is weird, and they know where the player is at all times once summoned. Because of them spawning in groups, they will lag the game when they appear, move, and just be a constant nuisance to the player. Now, I don't really have proper tips on how to deal with them since one of them is immune to bullets, so you'll be wasting ammo to even tell which one is the one who isn't programmed properly. My recommendation with this is to do the despawning technique from this video I made. Go to this tile, once you feel the lag, go back and get inside as quickly as possible. Repeat this 7 times in a row and you'll have these mobs stuck in the background. Yeah, it's cheap, I guess, but they honestly don't follow the rules of every other enemy in the game. They won't forget about the player and will always collide with at some point by accident. As for stairs, well, the best way to learn how to dodge on stairs is to learn the layout of each one of them, walking on them by going up and down to be able to tell where it is that you can't step into and where you can. Once you figure this out, you'll be able to apply the previous knowledge to any enemy. Of course, it's always best to not lead them there if you struggle with stairs. Now, diagonal movement. As stated before, enemies are not able to move diagonally when they are close to you. However, they can if they aren't able to touch you, making reaction time tighter than usual. In Fear and Hunger 1, enemies move at dash speed, so in a way, Fear and Hunger 1 is a lot harder to dodge than 2. If you move diagonally when an enemy is either in any of these 2 tiles you're trying to move, you will collide. You have to stick to vertical or horizontal when it comes to movement if there is an enemy nearby. There are going to be moments in your run where you will need to move quickly and fast. Sadly, there's not much you can do than to just learn when to combine both for fast movement while being safe. Diagonal when no enemies are close by, vertical and horizontal when they are. Easy to remember, hard to master. And nope, diagonal movement does not make the player move faster. This isn't System Shock 2. Consider this a bonus and another glitch added to the entry of things to fix. If you ever wish to lose the attention of an enemy, make sure to stand away from their field of vision, open up Party Talk with T or Map with M. Waiting here for approximately 4 seconds will force them to lose their interest in you. This works with any kind of interaction that allows the enemies to continue processing their environment while freezing the game for the player. I'd recommend doing this to the Bobby that's inside the library. It gives you time to think so you can process what's going on around you without pausing the game to block your sight. I do want to emphasize, though, that the developer worked pretty hard on this game. Enemies react properly when it comes to party members being in the team, while Look Outside allows the player to make walls of party members to be able to block any enemy encounter. The enemies move very fast here, but cannot do anything to party members no matter if they have no pathing towards the main character. You should still play this game. If at any point the developer wants to make the game harder, they could probably look into Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, which introduces a mechanic that could work in Fear Hunger Termina. Roxanne's second phase, Blind Roxanne, has a charging attack that the player has to use for her to break walls so you can progress through the story. Maybe adding some sort of charge attack or something that forces the player to react to it, making the game more engaging. When it comes to the dodging phase of the overworld, a villager could set a trap as they walk. The player then could counter by backtracking, forcing the villager to lose their legs for an easy knockout. The rifleman could shoot and reload, making the player want to engage when they are reloading for a preemptive strike, giving a Gula dash attack that causes them to stand still afterwards for you to talk to them and calm them down. However, if caught by the launch, you will be prompted with a coin toss. We already have the villager with knives that throws a coin toss the moment we get caught by her running attack. But this could be better and modified in a way that would be engaging and not having to wait for it to just end. All in all, dodging is not hard in Fear and Hunger Termina, and everyone can learn with time. If you need to learn the patterns of any enemy in the game, I'd suggest using my easy mode that gives you 99 books of enlightenment. Practice against every enemy in the game until you understand how easy it is to dodge them. Thank you for watching this video. I hope your doubts have been cleared. Make sure to comment below if you got any ideas for future videos, and of course, like and subscribe. This has been 8danRaccoon. Oh, also, I'd never really spoken about this, but I have 3 extra channels. 8danRaccoon ESP, which are my videos translated in Spanish. 8danRaccoon Plus, which is my extra videos, where I upload videos that are not Fear and Hunger. So if you like Don't Starve and other games, make sure to check it out. And 8danRaccoon Bots, where I upload my stream bots from Twitch and YouTube. Okay, that's it. Bye bye.